As a young man, I loved to race cars and bikes. You know, the smell of burnt rubber, oil and gasoline, the roaring engines, it really was a lot of fun. And now that I'm becoming that age, I still enjoy it. And I consider myself now a young elderly, and I refuse to get old. And that's why I still enjoy the bikes. And for me, this bike is exactly what I wanted. It has a retro look, cafe racer style. It's actually a BMW 1200 9T, and it drives like a new bike. It performs like a new bike. It has all the safety measures on it and features on it, but it has this beautiful racing look. My red R1200R is now for sale, but have a look on that bike because it's a great bike, but it wasn't for me. I'm more into this racing kind of style, and that's why I bought this one this morning. And by the way, if you ever intend to buy a second-hand bike, think about it, go to a good dealership. You get your warranty, you get all the advantages, and Engelborgs, and I'm not making a commercial for them, they are really providing good service. I mean, you're very welcome as a customer. You get your coffee, they treat you very well, and they don't force you to buy anything. You can do a test ride and all that stuff. So I'm very pleased with them, and I will keep going there. But of course, you're free to go wherever you want to buy a bike. And again, I'm not making a commercial. And the engine is the very well-known boxer type from BMW, one cylinder on each side. It is air-cooled, as you can tell on the VINs, and oil-cooled. Now, the more recent models have also a combination with water cooling, but this one is the race model, the 9T, and it's air-cooled and in combination with oil cooling. That's how the cooling is done. It's only a two-cylinder, but my God, it is powerful. And those of you that know a little bit about racing, you will know that Brembo is a very well-known brand for brake calipers. It's a 4-piston caliper in the front wheels with a huge disc. So the bigger the disc, the more efficient the braking is, and it's double-sided, one on each side. It has as well in the front as in the back ABS. Now, one thing which is quite different nowadays than in the old days, we used to have chains on our race bikes. Nowadays, it's a drive shaft. Good stuff. You don't get any oil splattering all over the place anymore, and it's very low maintenance. An adjustable monoshock in the back, and you can adjust it for softness. It doesn't adjust for height, but just for softness. Now, I have to admit to you that the exhaust is not an original one. It is a sports exhaust, but it sounds beautiful. Not too loud, because I don't want to annoy the people on the street, but just loud enough. It has this nice deep sound. The pipe is by Spark, but keep in mind that if you put another pipe on, you need to adjust certain things, because this bike is full ECU driven. It has lots of sensors on it, oxygen sensors and so on. So you got to make sure that you put the right exhaust on and the necessary controls. Otherwise, you're not going to increase your performance. It's going to be worse. There's so many details on this bike. Like at the saddle, you have this nice stitching. It really feels soft and easy to sit on. And I'm a pretty short guy and I still fit on it. But look at the finishing on that bike. And of course, the bike doesn't have a carburetor. It's all injection based, because that's what you need to have nowadays. You're no longer allowed to have carburetors. It's a bit of a shame, but okay. Injection works just fine. You can see all the kind of the sensors that we actually have on it. We have an intake manifold sensor, but then we have the injector itself over here. So a lot of sensors, a lot of electronics, but the good thing is about this, you can actually plug in a diagnostic tester and check out your ECU. On the side here, you have your charging plug for your battery in the winter. Pretty good stuff. Now, I'm an electronics engineer and I love electronics, but for a bike, I really like the analog dials. Now, I've got to be careful because they're not really analog dials. As you will see, they are actually electronic dials. But you still have the effect of an old-fashioned dial. An RPM and a speed. And inside you can set all kind of indications. So that is really good stuff. And in the back of the saddle you got this nice little dome, which really refers back to old-time racing. The only drawback that you have with this bike is that you can't take a passenger. But then again, a cafe racer is not built to take a passenger. It's built to race. And everything on this bike is really BMW quality as we are used to. I'm actually a pretty big fan of BMW. The gas tank isn't all that big, and because the pedestal is very small, you can see it's leaning over quite a bit. So that sometimes can be a little bit of an annoyance to fill up the tank, but okay, that's what you take with it. So let's take this bike for a spin, guys. This was really a great ride, and keep an eye on my YouTube channel because more is to come on this bike, a total review in about a week or so. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.